I want you, Anya, John said, his voice a husky whisper. I want to feel your skin against mine, to taste your lips. But in that moment, she could not resist the overwhelming pull of his desire. Yes, sir, she whispered, her voice barely audible. I want you too. For more videos like this, like, subscribe to our channel. In the sprawling metropolis of Nairobi, amidst the bustling streets and towering skyscrapers, a tale of love, betrayal, and redemption unfolded. John, a successful businessman, lived a comfortable life with his wife, Mary. However, beneath the veneer of their seemingly perfect marriage lay a hidden secret. John had been harboring a forbidden desire for his maid, Anya. One fateful evening, as John returned home from work, he heard a faint sound coming from the maid's room. Curiosity consumed him, and he cautiously opened the door. There, on the bed, he found Anya, half naked and lost in thought. John's heart skipped a beat. He had always admired Anya's beauty, but he had never dared to act upon his feelings. In that moment, all caution was thrown to the wind. He approached her slowly, his gaze locked with hers. Anya gasped, startled by his sudden presence. Her eyes widened in fear and confusion. John, sensing her trepidation, gently reached out and touched her cheek. John's heart pounded in his chest. Anya, he repeated, savoring the sound of her name. Why are you not dressed? I was cleaning the master's chambers, sir, Anya stammered, her cheeks flashing a delicate shade of pink. John's gaze lingered on her exposed skin, the soft curves and gentle slopes that hinted at a hidden sensuality. You are beautiful, he said, his voice low and seductive. Anya's breath caught in her throat. Never had she encountered a man who spoke to her with such tenderness. Thank you, sir, she murmured, her voice barely above a whisper. As their eyes locked, a spark of desire flared between them, igniting a flame that had long lain dormant within John's soul. He reached out and gently touched her face, his fingertips tracing the delicate contours of her features. I want you, Anya, John said, his voice a husky whisper. I want to feel your skin against mine, to taste your lips. But in that moment, she could not resist the overwhelming pull of his desire. Yes, sir, she whispered, her voice barely audible. I want you too. And with that, they fell into each other's arms, their bodies entwined in a passionate embrace that consumed them both. As the night wore on, they explored the depths of their newfound love, their moans and sighs echoing through the silent mansion. From that day forward, John and Anya's lives were forever intertwined. Their secret affair was a forbidden flame, but it burned with an intensity that neither could deny. And as the years passed, their love for each other only grew stronger, proving that even in the most unlikely of places, passion could find its way. As the weeks turned into months, Mary discovered that her maid was pregnant for her lover. In the opulent mansion, amidst the gilded chandeliers and marble floors, Lady Mary sat in her grand drawing room, her piercing gaze fixed on her maid, Anya. Anya, she began, her voice icy as an Arctic breeze, I have a matter to discuss with you. Anya's heart sank. She had been working for Lady Mary for years, but she had never seen her so cold and unforgiving. Yes, my lady, Anya stuttered, her hands trembling. It has come to my attention that you are pregnant, Lady Mary stated bluntly. And it is my husband's child. Anya gasped, her face growing pale. How did you know? she whispered. I have my ways, Lady Mary replied. You see everything, Anya. Even the secrets we try to hide. Tears welled up in Anya's eyes. I'm so sorry, my lady, she pleaded. It was never my intention to betray you. Betrayal? Lady Mary scoffed. You have stolen the love of my life. You have shattered my marriage. But I love him, my lady, Anya cried. I never meant to hurt you. Your love is nothing but a cheap imitation, Lady Mary hissed. My husband is a man of wealth and status. You are a mere servant. Anya's shoulders slumped in defeat. I know, my lady, she said softly. But I cannot control my feelings. Control them you must, Lady Mary retorted. Or face the consequences. Anya gazed at her mistress with a mixture of fear and desperation. What will you do to me? She asked. Lady Mary stood up, her eyes glinting with malice. I will send you away. Far away, where you can never see my husband again. And I will make sure you never have another job in this town. Anya's world crumbled around her. She had lost everything, her love, her home, her future. As she was escorted from the mansion, she could hear Lady Mary's cruel laughter echoing through the halls. Anya knew that her life would never be the same again. She had paid the ultimate price for her forbidden love. When Anya was on her way, she met with John, his former boss. John asked her where she was going. After their conversation, John told Anya to board his car. John returned Anya back to his house. In the twilight's embrace, John and Anya emerged from the towering gates, their hearts heavy with a newfound burden. As they made their way to their humble abode, John's mind raced, formulating the words he would utter to his wife. My dearest, he began, his voice trembling slightly, I have returned with Anya. Anya's hand clutched his nervously as she glanced at the ground, her eyes filled with a mixture of fear and anticipation. You brought her back? John's wife, Mary, gasped, her eyes wide with disbelief. But why? I had no choice, John stammered, his voice barely above a whisper. When I discovered Anya was pregnant with my child, I had to take responsibility. Mary's face contorted in a mixture of anger and pain. You impregnated a maid, she hissed. How could you do this to me? I know it was wrong, John pleaded, his voice filled with remorse. But I was caught up in the moment. I've been lonely, Mary. You've been working so hard, and I felt neglected. Mary's eyes softened slightly, but a flicker of anger still lingered. That's no excuse, she said. You betrayed me, John. You betrayed our marriage. I'm not asking for your forgiveness yet, John said, his voice low. But I want you to understand that I love you. I love Anya too, but in a different way. She's carrying my child, and I can't abandon her. Mary stood in silence for a moment, her gaze fixed on the ground. I need time to process this, she said finally. I don't know if I can ever forgive you, but I'll try to understand. As the darkness enveloped them, John and Mary walked into their home, their hearts heavy with the weight of their newfound reality. Anya followed closely behind, her future uncertain but filled with a glimmer of hope.